Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for the game Reboot. So, in this episode, it started out with Malik and all the people who are a part of the Fighting Fury in Las Vegas starting up the training camp. You know, Jameson, y'all know that he gets his opportunity to finally show what he can do and all of that. He's excited. Everybody that's out there, they are really, really excited. But as it's going on, it's really hot outside. It's really, 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 really hot outside. I understand, like in the daytime, it can be hot, but at nighttime, it's not as bad. But child, I do not. I don't like. I don't like the heat. I don't like summertime like that. If it's hot, if it's above 75 degrees and all of that, I'm not here for it. I understand. I'm from Alabama. I have been in over 100-degree weather. I ain't here for it. And it's a problem to the point of where the players are complaining. And since Malik is supposed to be like the leader, they're like, okay, talk to the coach about it. So he went up to the coach, and the coach was like, what we're not going to do is that. Yeah, I have an indoor field, but what y'all gonna utilize is this outside situation. This is what I wanted to be. It is what I wanted to be. Later on in the episode, he tried to roll up on the colonel, who he's like the owner of the team and all of that, trying to convince him. And he like, yeah, I understand. I actually prefer to be outside myself, but all of this is the coach's call. They ain't got nothing to do with me. And then the next thing we see is Tasha on her jet with Pookie. And they are having sex. But we have to learn not long after that this is a moment in Pookie's mind that he's wishing is happening, because Tasha is so busy that they don't have a sex life. They don't have an actual life or anything anymore, because she spends more time on the road chasing her clients and working and doing all of that than with their child and within their marriage, spending time together doing anything. Yeah, and it comes out later on in the episode. Like, it really starts to fester, but it's to the point where he snaps back into reality, and Tasha is in the middle of a phone call. When she get off the phone call, he looking like, yeah, here you go. Then handed her divorce papers. And so she like, not divorce papers, child. So then she produces the card that the colonel gave her, because that is a great divorce lawyer. And so she was like, look, let's take this weekend to spend time with one another, and then we can decide after that. And I'm saying to myself, girl, a weekend ain't gonna change nothing. 2 days ain't gonna change nothing. You spend more time away from your children and well, your child. Because Malik grown, we ain't even gonna include him. The child that she had with Pookie and Pookie more than you spend with them. So it's like, girl, why are you trying to fight for this? Later on, they link up, and after they've landed and they're talking, because he was like, okay, I give you this weekend. So they're talking at a restaurant, and the white whale, as she likes to call him, his name is something Kincaid or something like that, y'all. I can't remember. I think it's Keith Kincaid. I don't forget. It's something Kincaid. That's what the white dude in Georgia, his name is. Y'all remember he has a black fiance and all this. She's beautiful. I was like, oh, wait a minute. But he rolled up on her. He tracked her down because now he wants to sign with her. And, the fiance is there, and, in her mind, she like, we ain't finna do none of this. I'm over here with my partner, because you over here talking about your partner and all these things or whatever. And so she like, look, I ain't got time for this. Pookie like, are you sure you want to do this? Because I don't want you to ever look back on this moment and realize that you made a mistake all because you over here with me. And so she looking like, I ain't got time for this, like whatever. So he really is over here trying to get back in her good graces, because y'all saw all that stuff she had to do last time. She was walking through manure and all kinds of things that weren't even manure at the time. Y'all know what was going on. Her shoes messed up. She had all kinds of mud, number 2, and everything else on her shoe and on her pants, that everything she wear is designer. And I'm like, girl, he big enough to where I would have been like, you got some old sweats or something that I could put on, because I wouldn't have been messing my clothes up. I don't care if I had the Walmart special on. Why is we messing up good shoes and clothes when, and then like he got the fiance. She could have been wearing something of the fiance's. I really feel like she could have did that and been like, all right, or let me run to the store and get some clothes, like, but not to be bougie. Can I borrow the fiance's clothes? Borrow something of hers that could be thrown on real quick that she won't miss. That if she gets it messed up, we can do it like that. I don't understand why she didn't do that. That didn't make no sense. But she over here talking about her shoes ain't been the same. But she gonna try to go ahead and set up a situation so they can meet up, because he wants to know what options she really will be able to provide. And she done already told him what it's gonna be. So meanwhile, the players are still tired in their spirit. And they like, Malik, come on now. You're supposed to be the leader. Talk to them. He was like, I already talked to the coach. The other guy, Garrett or whatever his name is, that likes I just had that woman's name, Raquel, who is Brittany's roommate / friend who sings or whatever, and trying to get her name out there so she can make it big. He was even like, look, he already tried to talk to the coach. It ain't work. You know, yeah, he is supposed to be the leader, but it is what it is. So the Colonel was out there, the owner of the team. He was out there in his Cadillac Escalade, his Cadillac, whatever truck that is. I think it's like the newest Cadillac, where, you know, he has a driver. And he in the back seat. And so he rolled up on him and he told about, oh, the air conditioner feel good. But y'all know he still has the spirit of the friend who died with him. And so he tried to figure out why he all up on him. He was like, yeah, you need to give me some room. So he slid over. The friend disappeared. Then eventually he reappeared in between the two of them while they were talking. So he was like, you know, asking about the AC and all this stuff. He was like, man, I like the AC in here. Like, we don't have time for this. It's too hot outside. And so, like I said earlier, he had to let him know, ain't nobody got time. They ain't got nothing to do with me. I already told y'all about that. So anyway, now Tasha was like, look, she told old boy, the Kincaid dude, to meet her at Malik's place. So she went over to Malik's place, and he already had a situation going on. Everybody was outside. It's hot outside. They in the pool doing what they doing. Jameson off somewhere training, like he's really being focused, and everybody else is enjoying themselves. So she was trying to explain to him that his place is where she's gonna meet up with him and like pitch him to himself, basically, like the brand and all the stuff that she feels like she will be able to get for him. And he was like, look, you can do what you're going to do, but I'm not going to be around for you to fall on your face and to be embarrassed again. And so she kind of looking like, what you mean? And I'm like, girl, it trips me out how y'all know how dumb and how ignorant and how just unaware Malik is at times, like most of the times. But when he makes sense, it's like, dang, for Malik to even make sense, come on now. So old boy ends up coming over there. Pookie is even in on it. Like, Pookie didn't even help set up. They over here turning on speakers and stuff that's announcing, you know, where he came from in Georgia and all that stuff. Like, that's typically what they do anyway when it comes to football and, you know, certain sports or whatever. But so we're talking about football in this instance, since this is, you know, a show about football. And so it's talking about, it said his name and what school he came from and where he hails from and all this other stuff. The fiance is there walking around, and she actually has a table set up, and there actually is product already out. Like, he has already tasted the Kincaid Aid, which is like a Gatorade type of situation or a Powerade type situation. But it's him. It's for him. Already they created a shoe. And I was like, wait a minute, that shoe kind of look a little, you know, decent. All right, then. Y'all done went off for this to be a fake situation. And I'm just like, you done went all the way off. The girlfriend / fiance, she was like, you know, all that's well and good, but we don't believe in the traditional football lifestyle. Like, money's fine, but we don't believe in it like that. And so she looking like, look, I can promise y'all all this good money and then some. All you gotta do is sign on the dotted line, because she's trying to hurry all of this up so she can spend time with her husband, because their relationship is definitely beyond the rocks at this point. It's off the cliff. it's off the cliff where the rocks was at. So yeah, the girlfriend wasn't here for it. And so she was like, yeah, I mean, they are really, really into the Bible. They are really trying to do things the way they feel like they need to be done. And she is not here for the financial aspect of it because a lot of people, she was like, well, she was reading Malik because Malik's house is big enough to be considered to be a hotel. And she was just like, there's nothing wrong with money, but we don't want it to be a situation where the money has become the focal point and, we just don't believe it was. I was just like, okay, then look at y'all. But yeah, y'all know what it is. It's a lot of people say the love of money. It is the they say the love of money is the root of all evil. Yeah, a lot of people are like money is the root of all evil. I'm like, no, it's the love of money that is the root of all evil. I'm gonna need for people to get that correct. That always tripped me out. I'm like, why can't y'all? It wasn't hard. Why are y'all leaving words out? Y'all literally will leave a word or two out and create something else. It is a completely different situation. That's not what it means. It literally says the love of money is the root of all evil, but I digress. So yeah, I 100% understand where they are coming from, but at the same time, it's to the point where Tasha's like, you know what, y'all can kiss my behind. I'm not doing all of this. You came over here chasing me. Your man came over here chasing me. I was minding my business. I was done with him. I have already messed up my clothes and my shoes for him. I'm not doing it no more. It is what it is. So he kind of was like, oh no, wait. The fiance looking like, I was like, no. Like Tasha was like, y'all know how Tasha is. I was like, oh my gosh, no, don't do it. Tasha was like, what is that? I done forgot the little nursery rhyme or whatever it is. The little, y'all know what it is. Because, everybody loved talking about some Tasha Mack because y'all know that's what we know her as anyway, initially. I don't think she changed. I don't know if she changed her last name since she married Pookie. But anyway, she was like, I don't care about no Miss Mary Mack and all this other stuff. You can do what you're going to do and give your own dog a bone or something. Like, she went all the way off and stormed out of the room. And I'm like, woo, child. Like, my thing is this, like, why is it that in my mind, I'm kind of gathering, I'm feeling like the fiance and the football player did not go into deeper conversations about what he wants because he came to Tasha. Well, when he told Tasha his demands, which was that he wanted to be paid by the time he was like 25 years old. So it's like, if you want to be really, really rich, why is it that your fiance is not understanding the assignment? Why is it that she's not understanding that you don't want to have any financial issues and all of that? I feel like you can be really, really rich and still live in a way that doesn't depict what Malik does. A lot of these people don't invest. A lot of these people don't think like the Shaqs of the world. Shaq is messed up as far as his personal life is concerned. And when he's with women. Okay, but he has made all these amazing investments. He is not even in the league. I don't forget how long it's been since he's been out of the league. But for him to have still made all this money, he still be giving back to the community. He stay giving out money. He stay giving out expensive stuff. He invests so much and he puts so much out there and he still gets so much. It's like he understood the assignment as well. He actually understood the assignment. He did what he's supposed to do. A lot of these people don't do that. They use their money up getting these fast cars, spending their money on these exotic women or whatever, these elaborate homes. And then they did all this, don't understand. You got to pay for the upkeep. You got to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to keep the lights on. And you got to think about the expenses that it's going to take. I'm just like, y'all don't think about none of this. And then when your career ends, you ain't got nothing to show for it except bankruptcy. But it is what it is. So anyway, let's move on. So with everything that's been going on with the Kincaid football player, the fiance, and Tasha and all that, Tasha is like, okay, I'm done. I'm tired of this. Like, I'm trying to fight for my marriage. I give it all up because I ain't got time for this foolishness. Pookie sees her determination and he's like, you know what? I'm going to help you to get them because, again, I don't want to be the reason why something that you are chasing didn't work out, and I know how you are. And so she was like, ooh, you know I hate losing. So they teaming up to win over this dude. Well, they ended up doing what he did, which was to hunt them down. They are looking at tuxedos and wedding dresses for their wedding because, as we already know, they are engaged to be married. So it got to a point where Pookie ended up taking old boy off to the side to look at tuxedos and ties, and Tasha was helping this heifer look for dresses. And it was just to the point that anything that Tasha suggested was a problem. Or it was just like, oh no, that ain't my type. I'm looking for something that's my type and all this other stuff. It got to the point where Tasha was like, look, I understand what you're trying to say, but ultimately you not going to really know how something really is going to be on you until you put it on. You need to try it on. So Tasha is going and trying on dresses. I don't even know if the heifer ever went to go try on dresses, but as the episode progressed, we saw Tasha come out in a dress. Before that part happened, we saw where Pookie was talking to Kincaid, and he was talking to him, and he asked him, was he ready? And so he was like, oh, I've been wanting to do this since I was knee high to a grasshopper. And so he was like, I'm not talking about football. And at this point, it kind of made him have a moment and be like, well, dang, am I ready to be married? And it's crazy how this whole situation helped to propel Pookie and Tasha's relationship into the position that it needed to be in, which is back on track. Like, it's crazy. Like, this might not be realistic, but I'm just saying, it's a TV show. It is what it is. So, like I was saying, she ended up coming out in a wedding dress, and she was passing by Pookie. Pookie over here talking about, Tasha, you look good. And so she was just like, oh, boy, that ain't nothing but the lighting in here. That's just some kind of way that they trying to make sure that you buy the dress. And so he was like, I mean, is this something that we missed when we just went to the courthouse? Because y'all know they never had a full-on wedding. And so, like, she really is, like, trying to play it to the left, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And, like, you could tell that he feels some type of way. And I'm like, child, they talking, and she learns that she learns that old girl is probably acting the way that she's acting because she does not want to end up how Pookie is right now, which is alone, looking crazy. He got to chase the bag and lose sight of their actual relationship because he is so caught up in football and the money. So Tasha thought about it, was like, wow, okay. But like I said, it's awesome how it actually ended up going in their favor. Well, meanwhile, Raquel and them are at the house because she's basically doing their version of the, what they call it, tiny desk concert at the house. And Brittany was supposed to actually pack out that club that they work at. And it hasn't been going well lately. Old girl tried to fire them. Raquel was about to walk up and overhear the situation. Brittany had to overplay it and overtalk the woman. And she was like, I promise you, I'm going to fill this club up tonight. She was like, if you don't fill this club up tonight, consider y'all selves fired. So now she over here looking crazy. She's still over here working for Tasha. It's like, girl, you got to make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be, the Tasha Mack way, and you got to make this work. Like, you already have been trying to make this situation pop. For whatever reason, it hasn't been going well lately. So it is what it is. I guess it's because everybody's in the training camp. So Raquel is at the house, and they were talking before the event popped off. And when she said what she said about how the football players are going to be at a training camp, she was like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. We can invite them. So trying to invite them after that, you know, that would just pack the house, because if there were people who knew that the football players were there, that means outside of the football players, fans would be there too. So it ain't got no choice but to be packed out. Well, they end up having the little event at her place. For whatever reason, well, because everybody was so tired from the training camp, nobody came. Now, I have to say this. It was crazy how everybody finally came together that was playing football so that they can go and do what they need to do and train on the indoor field. And they over here thanking Malik, and Malik was like, that ain't the person y'all need to thank. And so, like, he been trying to get everybody to get in Jameson's corner. They sitting up there being petty and feeling some type of way. and not throwing him the ball. And like, he really was working hard all day. He's been putting his heart into it all day with nobody throwing the ball. So now they're finally throwing him the ball. They were doing like wind sprints or whatever kind of sprints earlier outside, and then it just got to the point where they were like, if we work together, then we can be done with this practice. And it was not up to the liking of the coach. So it's like, y'all gonna keep running these drills till you do it right. So then I'm like, I don't understand people who do this. Like, you're in trouble, you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. They're gonna run you until you halfway dead until you do it right. So they eventually did it right, and then they over here about to pass out, then they get to go on the inside. I'm like, why didn't it make sense to y'all to do it right? Oh, okay, whatever. So anyway, now they are seeing that Jameson is a great player. They really over here trying to count this man out. Like, they really are treating him like a pariah, and it's sad. And my thing is, like, the fact that he has explained the situation, even though I still don't agree with the age range that they were in. I was like, why is it that you looked at her and was like, ooh, my girlfriend? Like, was she looking like I can't even say none of the words that I would normally say, because it's like, what was she looking like to you for you to have basically been like older, and she was like really underage, and then y'all had sex even though y'all were in a relationship? It was just giving me Honey Boo Boo and that black man that she been with lately. Like, that's legit what it was giving me. I'm like, why? Why was that somebody that you was like, I want to hang out with them? Like, what? Did y'all grow up together? It ain't making sense to me, but whatever. He served his time. It is what it is. Let that man live. So anyway, Pookie and them are still trying to work on these folks, and it worked. It's working well. It then got to the point where Pookie wants to marry her again. And the heifer was looking for a new dress. And so the dress that Tasha had on, she was like, I think I found a dress. And so Pookie was like, I think that's going to be a problem because I just purchased this dress. And so, like, this is when she realizes they are about to get married again. Child, she done called Malik trying to figure out what's going on, because she was like, come over here, or whatever. He done showed up, not realizing that he's about to be one of the people at the wedding. So they went to one of these chapels. The football couple that she's trying to sign, because ultimately they feel like they're signing together. This is my teammate. And so they're all at this chapel. They had a black man who was basically being portrayed as the Black Elvis, who was marrying them and all of that. They did their own vows. Tasha was like, you are the only one who understand me, and we done been through everything. And child, it was good. It was to the point where when Malik was walking his mama down the aisle, she was like, Malik, are you crying? And he was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even think y'all was gonna make it. Y'all was just a divorce waiting to happen. I was like, you told the truth, but you didn't have to read like that, did you? Like, she even looked at him like, wait a minute now. But yeah, like, stuff like that would give you a little bit of faith, because the way he grew up, it's like, child, you didn't have your daddy. Your daddy wasn't there. And he really was really, really tearfully happy, because he said out of his mouth, my little sister will be able to grow up with her daddy. And he know Pookie a good dude. So it's like, man, come on now. And so, like, my thing is this. Now, if I'm remembering correctly, Pookie owns like the security company or something, right? Why is it that, like, he doesn't have people all over the United States and all that stuff and wherever else? Because I think he's had some overseas clients and stuff too. Why is it that he doesn't take his talents, like, meaning him specifically, why is it that he wasn't like on her detail and just the main one that's right there beside her, so that it could be me and my man, we together. And if I don't want to be up under her today, I can just be in the hotel that you at today. And when you come home, it'll be Pookie time. They have this thing where he calls it Pookie time, or she calls it Pookie time. And like all throughout the episode, she mad because she's not able to get Pookie time. And they usually are very sexual. They hadn't been able to do nothing. And now after they've gotten married, they came back to Malik's place, and she was like, this is my favorite part of Pookie time. And they were just spending time together, enjoying the fact that they were loving on one another. And I was like, I'm here for it. So he done burned up the divorce papers. He said, I don't think we're gonna need this. Um, what is her name? Raquel ended up trying to do her event at her place, and then the alarm went off. She had an exec or whatever that was there that was supposed to see her, like some British woman who'd been wanting to see her perform. It might have been her big break. She actually ended up asking Garrett, who was the football player that liked her, to pull the fire alarm, so everybody had to exit stage left. And somebody who Brittany met, he tweets stuff and people like show up. Like, the reason why she didn't even want to do the event anymore at her place was because she wasn't expecting such a large crowd. But what happened was he ended up tweeting and people showed up and they set it off. And she was just like, oh no, it's just too much anxiety going on. Oh no, my nerves getting to me. It is what it is. So she ended up, after the smoke cleared, meaning everybody got cleared out of the room, she ended up thanking him, and he was like, well, I want to hear you sing. And so she was like, are you sure? He was like, yeah. She played the song for him, and we saw the wedding unfold. They ended up actually going and having sex and all this other stuff. Brittany came home because the event happened at the place where they both work, and it went well. She ended up talking to her. Garrett was in there trying to look for some juice the morning after. And she was like, yeah, we out of juice. And they kissing. And is it not no, oh, let's be secretive about this? No, this is my main. Or this is somebody who might potentially be my main, honey. So it is what it is. So she was like, you know what? Here's something to apologize. So she was like, what is this? She gave her an envelope full of money. Whatever money she made from the club that night, she ended up giving it to her. She was like, are we even now? She was like, nah, but we almost there. So it is what it is. But yeah, this was a really good episode. I was trying to do 2 at a time because I think it's only like 8 episodes. And I'm like, how dare y'all? And this is the 5th. So it's almost over with. But I do have some other stuff in store outside of the normal stuff that I do every year that I've been asked about. I am going to do that. And I have one other thing that's new. I don't know if y'all have seen it or not, but it's good. Anyway, thank y'all so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you've not done so. Give this video a thumbs up and let's talk about this down in the comment section.